So another thing that I will do, and we're talking about updating things online, I will update my online listing galleries, right? So I advertise with Style Me Pretty, and I advertise with Junebug. And I realized the other day that the pictures that I have up in my galleries for them are like 4 years old. So this is another thing that I've put on my calendar to do in January, is to go back and look at anywhere that I'm listed and reevaluate the gallery that I have up online there. Even if it's 4 or 5 pictures, I want them to continue to be the top 4 or 5 pictures that I have, if that makes sense. So another thing that I do in my copious amounts of downtime, I evaluate my current paid advertising, because I want to know that what I am paying for is still working for me. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm tracking all of my inquiries always. Like, I am always tracking my inquiries. I want to know how far in advance of their wedding did they contact me, why they did or didn't hire me, how they found me. All of these things are very important. ShootQ lets me track them. That's one of the kind of benefits of working with ShootQ. If you're not using a studio management software, and I'm not telling you that you have to, make a spreadsheet, right? And every time you write an inquiry, write in Bob Jones' wedding, his wedding date is X, it is 6 months before his wedding day, he didn't hire me because it was too expensive, he found me on the knot. And over time, you'll start to see data clusters. And I know by tracking all of my data that most clients contact me somewhere between 7 and 16 months before their wedding. That's kind of my average. Most people that do not hire me because it's out of their budget range. I also have a subset of people who do not hire me because they decided they wanted a different style. Like, if someone's looking at me and someone's looking at Jose Villa, and they choose him over me, we're not even the same type of photographer. It's a style choice. So I know that there are some photographers, when they end up hiring them in the New York area, it's because of a style choice. We're fairly similar in pricing, but if they've chosen, XYZ photographer instead of me, it's because they wanted something dreamy and more romantic. Well, there's nothing I can do with that data. I'm not changing my style. I'm not going to be everything for everybody. But if I start finding that all of a sudden I'm losing a lot of weddings to another photographer who's priced similar to me, who has work similar to mine, I want to find out why. But this also, tracking these inquiries, you'll find out common places where your clients are finding you from. So you want to know, are my clients finding me from Google? Are they finding me from previous clients? Are they finding me on Facebook? If you're paying for a listing online somewhere and nobody's ever finding you off of that listing, over time you'll realize that if you're tracking your inquiries, and you'll know that that's not necessarily a good source for you to spend your money on. The other thing is, you need to evaluate if the cost is worth it. If I'm paying for Style Me Pretty, just for example, and I only book 1 wedding a year from Style Me Pretty, is it really worth all that money for that 1 wedding that I booked? And another thing is, are some of the things that you're paying on really meant to correspond to actual bookings? What I mean by that is, some of my online listings are for clients and some of them are for vendors. I stay on Style Me Pretty not because it actually books me weddings, but because I know other vendors see my name on there. Because I know people are seeing me there, because it's kind of like being at the top of the game and being listed with the rest of the top of the game. It's more of a name recognition thing than it is, I'm not looking at it saying, I need to book weddings from Style Me Pretty. But people will come to me and they'll say, well, you shot my coworker's wedding, and I really loved what they did. Personal referral, that's the biggest. And then, I think we saw your stuff on a blog somewhere, and then I was doing a listing on Style Me, but looked on Style Me Pretty, and I saw you there too, and then we found you in New York Weddings magazine. Some of it is just reinforcing what you're already doing. It's another way for clients to be like, oh my God, that person again. And some of it is to just put myself in front of vendors. So some of this paid advertising is so other vendors will see my names. Another thing to do in the downtime, because I've only given you 1 or 2 things to do in your downtime, exploring new blogs for submission possibilities. This one is pretty easy. Do a search, see what's new. What is popular this year might not be popular next year. What are people reading now? And how can you become involved with what people are reading now in a way that will drive traffic to your site?